Hello. Thank you for visiting Sweet Bliss Yoga here on YouTube. Today, I would like to take you through some poses that might help you move through some grief if you're experiencing grief or sadness, depression. Most of us have lost a loved one in our lives at some point by death or by moving on. Other types of loss, if you're grieving the loss of a job, a home, a friend. We'll move through some poses that will be nurturing and a couple of poses that are heart openers and that target the lung meridian, where in Chinese medicine, the belief is that the opening up the lung meridian can help process feelings of grief and sadness. So we'll begin in a child's pose. Knees are together or about hip width apart, and your hips can be on your heels. You'll want to have some blocks or some cushions, bolster, anything that you can prop yourself up with nearby, because a couple of these poses might require a little bit of support. So just folding over the tops of your legs. If you need space, you can open up your knees. Otherwise, just feeling the compression between your upper and lower body here can be really nurturing. And if your forehead doesn't reach the mat, you can use a block or a pillow to rest your forehead on. And in Yin Yoga, we do hold each pose for a few minutes. So just getting settled in here. Breathing into your back. Holding space for your loved ones, for your feelings. Holding space for yourself. Letting yourself move through this difficult period. And slowly coming out of this, you can use your hands to help lift your body up. If you were using a prop, you can move that out of the way. And we'll just move our torso forward. Stretch our legs out behind us into Sphinx pose. Make any adjustments you need. You can place your elbows underneath your shoulders, palms flat on the mat, and you can adjust your forearms forward or back depending on how deep you'd like to go in this pose. It's normal to feel some compression in your low back in this pose. And you want to press your shoulders down and back and trying to pull your chest through your arms very subtly. And gazes forward. Or if you want to hang your head down, that's okay too. That's another variation. And gently releasing this pose, making your way up to your hands and knees. We'll go ahead and take a puppy pose. Another heart opener, walking your hands out in front of you, maybe about a foot, and then sinking your chest down towards the ground, trying to keep your hips above your knees. If you have any neck or shoulder issues, play around with the pose. You can make different adjustments. You can place a block under your head if you don't want to sink too far down. Or you can take your elbows to the mat, palms together, pointing down towards your upper back to get more into the tricep area. Whichever way you choose, make sure you're not having any sharp pains or shooting pains. If you are, you can always come back into a child's pose. We don't want any pain. And when you're ready, coming up out of puppy pose, we'll make our way down to our bellies for a broken wing or open wing pose. You can stretch your arm all the way out to the side or bend it at a 90-degree angle, rolling over onto your right side. You can bend your knees, just finding an opening in the right side of your chest. You might feel it in the inside of your right upper arm. If you'd like, you can take your left arm and put your left hand behind your low back. Yin Yoga can be very healing. It can also bring up a lot of emotions as you sink into some of these poses. So don't be surprised if you might sometimes have a wave of emotion come over you. Sometimes a good cry on the mat helps, depending on how you process your sadness and your grief. If you experience any numbness or tingling in your arms or any part of your body while you're doing any of these poses, make sure you come up out of it, because you don't want to be pinching or compressing any nerves. And always feel free to use props if you need to adjust your position at all. Slowly coming out of this side. We'll make our way to the other side. Left arm out at a 90-degree angle or straight out, whichever is more comfortable for you today. Then rolling onto your left side. Again, you can keep your right arm in front of you or draping it over your low back. This side's really tight for me today, so I'm going to keep my arm in front of me. And it might feel good if you want to close your eyes while you're doing these poses and turning your attention inward. And noticing how you're feeling, accepting it, and sending love towards your sadness. Slowly rolling back onto your belly. Take your time, pressing up and back, and this time we'll take a wide child's pose. So toes together and knees apart. And we'll take a wide child's pose with a little twist, a little thread the needle. So you'll take your left arm underneath your right and placing the left side of your head on the mat. Might need to readjust and see what feels good for you here before settling in. And see what feels good, where your right hand wants to be. And breathing deep into your belly here, letting your belly hang between your thighs. Hips sinking down towards your heels. If you have a lot of space between your hips and your heels, you can place a blanket or a pillow or a block. And slowly coming up, you might want to take a little cat and cow motion here before moving to the other side. Bringing a little movement into your spine. When you're ready, threading your right arm underneath your left and bringing the right side of your head down towards the mat. Making any adjustments that you need to get settled into this pose. And making your way back up. So if you have your blocks or your bolster pillows nearby, set those up for, excuse me, supported fish pose. So if you have blocks, I like to place mine kind of in a T position, one block along the short side of the mat and the other one long ways. And setting up for supported fish. It's a wonderful heart opener. And so you want to place the first block underneath your upper back. The second block will support your head. And you can play around with the height if you're using blocks. And if you have a bolster, you can place it underneath the low back, the edge of the low back, and then long ways to support the top of your body. And if you're just using pillows from around the house, you can just play around with the position to see what is comfortable for you. And you can leave your arms along the sides of your body here, or you can open your hands out to the side. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can bring your arms up overhead. Settling in, opening up your chest and your heart. It's a really good position if you wanted to practice deep belly breaths. Those can be really nurturing, calming for the nervous system. And in this position, your body kind of naturally sends the breath into your belly. And when you're ready, you can use your elbows and forearms to help support you to lift up. Or if it's easier, roll onto one side and place your props over to the side. And we'll make our way into a Shavasana. And you can take a traditional Shavasana, just laying on your back and stretching your legs out, arms to the side. Or you can take a butterfly shape with your feet and your legs, bottoms of the feet together and knees open to the sides. You can always use blocks or pillows if you need support under your knees here. And you can place one hand on your belly, one hand over your heart. You might even feel your heart beating. And taking a moment of gratitude, thanking yourself for taking time to honor your feelings and what you're going through, allowing yourself to feel and to move through it. And practicing self-love in the process. And stay here in your Shavasana as long as you need to. It means so much to me that you're practicing with me. Thank you. And I hope to practice with you again very soon. I'll put a link to more Yin Yoga in the comments. In the description. If you're interested in practicing more Yin Yoga with me. Namaste.